Hello for gaming community and Beyblade community as a whole. It's been quite some time. We missed a whole month of August. It's myself and Crisis Crusher. We're back up here today just to do like an open discussion, bring you up to speed. So we did have, I think we only had one interview set up throughout this time. It fell through, and then Crisis and I were going to get together to do another episode. But life happens, things happen, and we apologize for taking so long. I do want to. I don't know how consistent this will be, but we want to just get up here and talk about Beyblade, even if it's periodically. Answer any questions that y'all have, and just discuss things going on within the Beyblade world, competitive scene. There's a lot, man. We got Team Palooza, the circuit going on. Blader's Kingdom, still a thing, and
Yeah,
I
there's
guess
a there's a lot going on now.
yeah, so much going on. And also I want to start talking about like some of the players because I know we mentioned a lot of players, but one thing too, I want to get the podcast on because it's on YouTube. But Mike Nightwing was telling me using some apps to get it on different platforms because even new listeners or people getting into Beyblade can find out about Beyblade, and sometimes we mention the names of people in the community, but I mean, I guess if it's just me and you talking without so much focus on the interview, we could talk about some of that stuff, and I guess just have a real open Beyblade discussion. So I think that'd be solid. But first and foremost, I haven't talked to Mike in a while, man. How you been?
I've been all right. Like I've got my YouTube channel, but I haven't uploaded since Dark Continent pretty much, mostly because we've got a whole new work thing going on, and my entire they're doing all kinds of new procedures and stuff like this, so everything's changed. I have not had the time for anything really.
Yeah, yeah. Same, man. Like work is a thing, and like we said, like we're two dads. I know you were tired last time. So with the last interview, I'll just go and say it. Mike had just, or it wasn't an interview, but we were gonna get together. Mike had, he was tired and got off of work, and
I
when he
passed
was
out.
able to, yeah, when he was able to get on, it was it was probably poor planning on my part. It was the day right before school, and I spent that night with, well, I spent the entirety of that week. I took off from work to spend with my family, and that night I had everything planned out, and we ended up playing D&D for the first time, which was a lot of fun. And it's family life, we do the podcast and we love Beyblade. I do it bonding with my kids and my family. Mike does it same manner and way. Our kids got us into it, so we didn't want to take away from that. So we chose to get some rest, spend time with our families, and but now we're back. We're back here. I haven't I don't think I've touched a Beyblade. Like we had our tournament today, but I haven't. Well, that's a lot. I have been touching Beyblades the whole time, but I haven't like had the competitive mindset or doing anything since Dark Continent. But y'all have had a few tournaments, haven't you? I know. Well, I don't. Have you gone to any of them? I know y'all just had Beyblade East.
We so the only one I went to was Team Palooza, because Mike Nightwing had his Blader's Kingdom, the first one up here since the one in North Carolina, but that was
Hmm.
Hasbro only. I owned zero Hasbro, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
even play in it if I wanted to.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
not to mention, I don't know the Hasbro format, so I don't know what would be good. So I'm not about to go try to borrow people's good parts from them when they have one copy of that good part.
Yeah.
I'm not about to be that guy like, well, I'm better than you. Let me use it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's how it would be because even with my competitive stuff, like we go to tournaments and you don't have anything, I'm not giving you my combos. Like Monte Carlo told me top combos for you to come and play with. First off, well, one of my big things is like I know it even happened today. Like kids will break their vase or break their launcher or something, and then ask to come and borrow mine. To be like, hey, this just happened. And I'm like, well, you're not about to do that to mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I can't help you. Um, it just is what it is. Did you go to Beyblade East at all? Any of those events?
I did not. Unfortunately, Beyblade East was heavily catered towards the metal fight players, and like they had Burst Classic. But once
Hmm.
again, I don't own anything for Burst Classic, and the only metal fight stuff I own would have been for limited. But they decided to have the limited like early on Saturday, and I'm in the
Yeah,
middle of work early on Saturday, so the
yeah,
only thing I could have went and actually played in, I couldn't even go to.
yeah. I understand that. I had wanted to make it up there. I had even planned for it, but I ended up getting some time off of work and planning my schedule for what the kids wanted to do. I was like a trip to Maryland. If I was to go, it turns into a 3 day trip, even though it's just 1 day because you take a day up there traveling, and then it'll be like the second day we hang out, and then third day we're traveling back, and that would have taken 3 days of just relaxing and doing some things locally here that my kids wanted to do. So I was sad I couldn't make it because I really wanted to go up there because I'd never been to one of the like big WBO events like that.
Yeah.
Um, but it I'll try to make it at a later date or a later time. But explain to me Team Palooza. I know it's Conch has it going from with Beyblade Premiere, and I know a little bit of it. But how did the event go, and what is the whole premises behind this event?
Okay, so back in early July, I think it was the start of July. It was like the first tournament of the month in July up here. Mike Nightwing decided to host a um, team tournament with the 3-on-3 format.
Yeah,
And so, we had 33 players show up, so we had the teams and everything, and we all played, and it was a great time. Like when I heard stories of team format beforehand, it sounded awful. It sounded like the way the point system
yeah,
was. Like it just sounded like
yeah.
the way the point system was terrible, and I was just like, no. But
Forget
then
that.
when,
Yeah,
but then when thinking about it, it using the 3-on-3 style instead of the single base style makes it a little more understandable and better. Like it makes it
yeah.
fun because no longer am I walking out with my one Beyblade and my opponent has the perfect counter. So I'm about to get 3-0'd and completely like ruin my team's chances of getting in there.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, so 3-on-3 makes it a lot more fun, a lot more bearable, and so it was just a great experience. And word spread that there was a team tournament in Maryland, and Deceased Crab had his tournament report up, and a lot of people read Deceased Crab's tournament report. I
Everyone
mean,
does, I would say.
that,
Yeah.
they're like a mix of hilarious and
Yeah.
God, this guy needs to chill.
I think that's what
But
everybody reads them, like whether they admit it or not. Like everybody's looking forward to DC's tournament reports.
everybody.
Yeah.
But so then of course like Conti saw it, and Conti's like, well, why don't we have like a big team tournament thing? Kind of like how you're trying to do Dark Continent. Like he was thinking of it though, like the actual show. How like
Yeah.
back the original Beyblade. I mean, you haven't seen it, but like the original Beyblade, it was all about a whole team thing
Yeah.
where they were a team and they would become the world championship team. Not
Hmm.
exactly there's just one world championship Beyblader. So Conti was just kind of like, well, I'm going to see if we can, get that going. And the original concept of Team Palooza was you make a team, you register your team, you do all these tournaments, and then, you get basically invited to go play at the championship at the end.
Hmm.
However, there's a problem with that. The whole
What?
registering team thing, you run into the problem of, well, what if one of my teammates can't make it?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So
Hmm.
we had to figure out what we could do because then it's like, well, I don't want to sit here and work really hard to try to go to the big event at the end, but then one of my teammates can't go, so what do I do?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after talking with Conti, and he listened to a lot of people and how a lot of people felt about it, and he decided
Hmm.
separate from the Palooza. So we have
Hold on, Mike. Can you hear me okay? Mike?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you broke up a little bit right after you said he listened to a lot of people, a lot of people's feedback, and then what?
So he listened to a lot of people's feedback, and then he decided to separate the Big N tournament, like basically which would be the championship team tournament, from the other part of the event, from the rest of it. He separated them.
Okay,
So the team championship, any team can go to, register that day, and you're good to play.
solid.
You don't have to have an invite to it.
Okay, so it's just free, so you can go to the championship thing no matter what. What about what's the Legends Festival? Is that the same thing or?
Yeah, that's the Legends Festival.
Okay, so
So
you don't even have to participate in Team Palooza as long as you just have a team, you can go to the Legends Festival.
correct. The whole
Okay.
purpose of Team of Palooza is to pretty much basically everyone now is competing not only for great prizes because he's got a lot, like he's sending a lot of great prizes to everybody for everything,
I
but
saw.
I think it's like the top team out of everyone because he's got a whole leaderboard system. The top team, he will either pay for part of your trip or for your hotel stay to come down to Florida and play in the Legend Festival.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty dope. I did see that part, and I know he's got some great prizes. I know with his events, like they're always like nice. They're nice events, indoors and very I say flashy, and they have
Yeah,
a lot of good prizes and things like that. I only been to summer games last year. I think he probably will do summer games again. He's done it for the last 2 years.
yeah,
Um, and it's solid. And I think that is a good idea. It gets everyone going. As I've got like the circuit going, we had our first event today, which actually this was possibly the lowest turnout I've had for any tournament. Um, Granted, I won't say I went on a hiatus. I just took a month off to relax, but I had the cap for 24. Granted, this is also in Jacksonville, my local town, so we never have a big turnout. We had 14 people sign up, but only 19 people showed. I mean, nine people showed. I got a call from two of our locals, um, like local to the area. Like both of them, they like called me the night before, and some of them I know they're just they're kids, but they're not kids. They're like high school, and some of them I think
yeah.
they're kind of growing out of it. But at the same time, the nine people that we did have show up, we had some. We only had one player that was brand new. Everyone else, they came from different parts of the state. And I played with them before, and it was actually like it was still a pretty competitive event. And a lot of the people that I remember playing with are like some of the kids that would show up with like either some Hasbro stuff or some um unique combos, I'll say. They're running not like meta stuff, but like really good stuff. So everyone that did show up today,
I'm
it
sorry.
was
What was
some
that?
great competition. Huh?
You cut out for a second.
Okay, my bad. It was just great competition today. The kids, they were creative and the combos were legit. It wasn't like there was I don't think there was any like stock combos. I think one person was running some stock combos. But other than that, like everyone else was running pretty meta or pretty creative. Um, with the things they had. You still hear me okay?
Yep, you're good.
Yeah. So I mean it wasn't a big turnout, but it was a nice and fun event. And I think about like the invitation, like even now, because Beyblade, I always go back to like that Shindog interview. It's Beyblade is big, but competitive Beyblade is not.
Yeah.
Um, so even like as I'm doing this, and I'm not gonna speak too early because it's really early in the season. But I was thinking about as far as like the invitational for Dark Continent, um, and maybe reworking some of that. But it depends, because the only reason why I was thinking if you have the top four from these tournaments, and then let's say like because people are going to come and play regardless, but
Right.
if only like 20 people are able to travel to go somewhere, and there were other people that were willing to travel, but they didn't have the invitation, the same way as Team of Palooza. Maybe a lot of people do have teams, but they weren't able to get into the event. You don't I don't want to spend all that money for an event like to have it hosted and then like a few people just show up. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's something I'm gonna have to think about. I have been looking at a location, been running into some issues with that, like not a lot. Like as far as North Carolina goes, I'm good. I'm always good here. But with other states, I did try to do it in DC. The only person I told Mike Nightwing about it because I was asking him about his place. But y'all, DC's so busy. Like
Yeah.
Maryland's so busy. So I mean, I asked a few months ago, so it was like a year and a half out, and or a year out, and they were like, no, we're booked, man. The city is doing things. So I'm still looking for a place. I want to keep it. I want to cater to who I can as far as like the different organizers and states, because I said I wanted it to bounce around, but at the same time, I also have to think like the folk. I want people to play. Like I want it to be competitive and fun, but I don't want to. I guess the fact that we're not super huge, like if Beyblade was even half the size of like Yu-Gi-Oh, it'd be no issue. But the fact that we're trying to build and I got to think about the restrictions that I'm putting into the circuit or any Beyblade format. But that's
Right.
just where I'm at right now.
I I honestly feel like the top two best places is like Charlotte and Richmond.
Yeah,
Like I just feel like those are like center enough to where people from all up and down the East Coast is like, yeah, I'll make that trip there.
yeah, yeah. Richmond is my secondary place, and that's where I'm looking at now. Um, the thing, if I'm thinking about Richmond, I'm gonna try to look there. I was looking at Virginia Beach because they have a convention center, but it is expensive. And here's the thing, like I know we have the events and big events, but your boy Stay Cool is not trying to go broke on these Beyblade tournaments. I tell you that. Like I'm not trying to go for broke. Like I want us to come together and I want us to play, but I'm not trying to break the bank in order to do so. Um and that's just what that is. So Richmond, I was thinking and I'm thinking for the future. I just not getting ahead of myself. I just got to think because I think a general local area would be nice for competitors to come together and then I think I'm depending how the rest of the season goes. Um, think about how the invitations are going to go because I wanted to be highly competitive. Um,
But at the same time, you want there to be more than just 20 people.
yeah, I wanted to be more than 20 people, which I mean this year, shoot, it was no invitation and 54 competitors, and I felt like it was extremely highly competitive.
Was?
Yeah, the environment was friendly. It was nice, and you had Maryland in the top eight, Florida in the top eight, Carolinas in the top eight. Ohio was I think the only region that didn't make it into the top eight.
Yeah.
Um, but you could see that with the meta, and then everyone coming together in this general area. Um, you could see like yeah, maybe your local meta isn't can't compete with other areas, or you see what areas are doing well, but I wanted to say too, I haven't seen the original season of Beyblade. I haven't seen all of it, but I do respect the thing with the teams and so Team Palooza is dope. I guess I'm trying to find the best blader in the world and the best team is solid. Um it would be sweet if we did have it like the anime where people like could just pick up their lives and go to some school and just train in Beyblade all day, but we got bills to pay, you know what I'm saying? So that ain't always gonna work out. Yeah,
Unfortunately. Where's
yeah.
our utopian society?
I know, right? I know. Um, shoot, when is your next event? So you're hosting the circuit, but y'all have a Team Palooza coming up soon, right? Or explain to me your how last Team Palooza went, like who won and
So okay, the team Palooza, it was team Sonic can now be Supersonic that won. So that consists of LJ Blader, his mom, Mama Bay, and Deceased Crab. They were
uh
ultimately the team that won. Um, so real quickly, let me give a small explain what happened with my team. So my team was supposed to
yeah.
be me, Geetster, and Robert Lawler.
Hmm.
Um, well, unfortunately, Robert Lawler's father went into the hospital, so he
Oh
was
yeah.
not. Yeah, he was not able to make it up here. So that put me and Geetzer in a weird position. And Geetzer's mom is on a team with Beyblade Blast 11 and Yami. Well,
Hmm.
Beyblade Blast 11 couldn't come up either because he had family issues. So
Oh.
it turned into um, me and Jared were kind of decided that at the end of the day, I let him play with his mom and Yami, and they got second, and I played with two random people that were there at the event. Um,
Okay.
so for me, my team, unfortunately, it really only had me on the team that could do much of anything. Like, I think the only match I lost was when I played against Crab. Everyone else I 3-0'd. But my teammates, they weren't quite there. So for me, it was kind of like I knew this was going to happen when me and Jared split up and Bobby wasn't with us.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. My bad for
but
laughing too. I thought you were gonna say explain it. I thought something else, like something funny happened. I didn't know what happened with Bobby, and shout out to Bobby and um
prayers to his
your
family.
dad. Yeah, yeah. To your whole family, man. Much love and prayers to y'all. Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, no. I mean, the only thing that I learned about Teamapalooza and the team tournament, we had one team. I'm not going to specifically point them out, but this one team, when they would learn who they're playing against, you know how normally in a Beyblade match, you and your opponent get called to come up to play at a stadium, right? You have
Yeah.
3 minutes to decide on your Beyblade combo and come up and play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the rules for teams, the only thing it says is when your teams are called, you have 2 minutes. Your captain has 2 minutes to tell the judge the order in which you guys are playing.
Okay.
So, in that aspect, we had one specific team where every time one of their teammates was up to play, like you're like, okay, your teammate number one is playing this teammate number one of this team.
Mm-hmm.
They would stop and take their 3 minutes to make their combos, working as a team, deciding what combos that player should use for that matchup.
Mm.
So each one of them doing that's an additional 9 minutes for that.
Yeah.
Every round they did this.
Yeah.
So that was 9 extra minutes added each round. And it was
Mm-hmm.
taking forever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame them. I get it. They're not exploiting, but they're abusing the rules the way they could at the max to try to win. Because I mean, who doesn't want to win?
Yeah.
But it's like there's like 4 combos in the game right now that are like really good. Why are we thinking this hard? Please.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Like,
know. Yeah, I personally do not change my combos too much. The only time I ever would is if I specifically know like if I'm going against someone and they hard counter me just from their deck, then I'll take time, but usually I'll just run through with the same thing because it's real chancy to go to each match with something different. At least in 3v3 with single bay, I fully get it. But 3v3, man, you got to set yourself up for success
yeah,
with just a solid deck, like a single solid deck. But
right. Yeah,
to each their own. Go ahead.
that's the thing. In 3v3, like you're better off trying to build a deck of just standard, generic, really good combos
Hmm.
rather than trying to figure out, well, what do I make the hard count of that person's deck? Because they could have 3 Beyblades and you could know all 3. You can
Yeah,
make a deck that perfectly counters them, but then guess what? You didn't get the order right.
yeah, 100%,
So,
100%.
you
Today,
know,
yeah, my bad.
no, go
The
ahead.
wait, so today, yeah, we run 3v3. I love 3v3. I went undefeated today, thankfully,
Cool. So you got
and
your invite.
yeah, I got my invite, baby. Yep, I went undefeated today, but I had a lot of matches, and this is Shout out to Shindog again for I didn't see strategy in 3v3 until the reshuffle. And I did some teaching today too, because we have some really great competitors. I was on these smaller tournaments, even though it is a circuit at Dark Continent. Um, like maybe when I'm running or bigger ones, like I don't really have time to do a lot of teaching. It's more like, hey, let's go, let's just keep it moving. But I did some teaching today and let them know because that reshuffle, you have to remember what your opponent was using and use that. Put your combos in an order that's going to get you the wins. Like, hey, because I won a lot of my matches today, and I was 3-2 because I was only getting 1 point during that first go around, and then I was like, okay, well, I know what they had. I know these two will give me the bigger advantage, so I'm gonna run with these and chance this last one, and I won probably like 3 or 4 matches like that because I was down, Mike. It was a whole bunch of 2-1s. I got burst at one point, and I was like, God, you know what I'm saying? It was a little bit nerve wracking. But that reshuffle is like you said, you got a solid deck, I feel like, and it's got those legitimate parts in it. You can figure out a way to win, especially with that order, with those mind games and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree, man.
Yeah. The good thing with 3v3 is yes, you could be at it could be 2-1 in their favor, but as long as you got that 1 point, you feel like you're still in the game.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, and that's how I did it today. I used attack today. I had I don't ever use attack like legitimate attack. Like I'll have a destroy dash or my reboot dash, the infamous reboot dash. But today I had exceed plus Z. So it was
Mm.
still a little bit of stamina in there. But I had that with on was guilty, my guilty combo. I can't remember what this a fortress. I had fortress and I can't remember the armor, but I'm gonna put it up on the winning
Winning combo.
combos. Yeah, it'll probably be up the same time that this gets uploaded. But it got me some wins because my son he was another one that I was 2-1 on, and he was winning. And we had our last match, and I thought I was gonna lose, but I got a KO at the last second. I got little bit of tips and tricks from TJ Make 'em Burst as far as attack goes that really helped me out, and I utilized it today. As far as the launch, because I used to just eat myself in the pocket all the time, so I was like, I'm done with this. Forget rubber flats, like they were useless. But he gave me some strategies, and I came back home, practiced it like a little bit shortly after Dark Continent. I talked to him, and then it helped me out a lot. Just learning from different players and stuff like that, and things worked out. Things worked out real well. Man, I had something else I was gonna say. I can't remember as far as but I know I've been having fun. Yeah, I'm gonna see how the rest of by January, I'm gonna see where we're at as far as like who has the invitation, how many tournaments have been ran, who is actually willing and capable of traveling to Richmond or Virginia and things like that. And then I'll probably have an update. We'll keep it the same by January, or I might make some changes to be like, hey, like maybe give some incentives to the people that won the tournaments, that came in first place to be like, hey, you guys get this, I mean, you're winning $50 anyway, so that's more. I feel like that's pretty good for a Beyblade tournament that you're winning some money. But
Yeah.
yeah, even in that right of itself, and then the traveling, like I'm still gonna keep the prize for Dark Continent. I just want Dark Continent to be fun and competitive, but still more than 20 people. So
Yeah.
we'll
I
get
mean,
to that.
I think either at the end of the year, or at the end of it, we'll either end up deciding to go along with the invites or just screw it, let everyone come.
Yeah, and I think either way it'll be fun because people just want to play. I had some epiphany moments after Dark Continent. Um, because it's not a conflict with me and the store, like for gaming. I'll go ahead and say it. Like, I'm not a businessman. I've never like been heavy into the businessman mentality.
Right.
Um, and then I kind of it wasn't an epiphany, but it was like just woke up one day and some voice was like, James, I mean, I have the store, but I'm really like a tournament host that just happens to sell Beyblades on the side, which is fun, because a lot of things I'm doing to try to help and build a community. And but the good thing when I focus on that, because sometimes I get split where I'm like, man, I need to do this to try to help the store and promote the store, but it's like at the same time, it's not a conflict, but it's like I want to compete and I want to get people to compete and to have fun. How can I do that as far as like with the store and this and that? And so it's like I got two babies and I want to take care of them both, but it's like, man, well, not two babies. I have two priorities and I want to take care of them both, but it was one of the things like which matters the most. And like tournaments I mean, it is what it is, man. I got into all of this because I found the WBO website. And I've said that before. If I didn't find the WBO or like competitive Beyblade, my desire for Beyblade probably would have died out as soon as it sparked. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely want to keep the circuit going and do whatever I can to have that for gaming. Definitely want to keep that going. But I know as far as these tournaments go, uh, I need to run that and to get that going. I want to speak on something. This is a side note, other than the competitive scene. And Mike, I've talked to Mike about this too, but I'm also want to speak to the listeners. I'm gonna bring up random boosters because we have a time to talk about um I guess this open Beyblade discussion. And then from the story's point of view, I want to talk about random boosters because for this go around for the new random boosters, like I'm not gonna be doing like the single bays and the prize bays. I think I'm gonna start doing that for just for like special occasions, like when we have our sales and stuff like that. So there'll be something put up, and I want to verbally explain why because I put a blog. So if you see the stores, you all know like people pick through their bays or this and that. The only way you guys, the community, can get a confirmed Beyblade from a random booster is if someone opens up the box. That's the only way that is possible to be able to happen. So typically, like the stores, myself included, we'll order a big bulk of Beyblades, and we'll have to go through them, and then we'll make the full sets. We'll do the confirmed bays. The thing with that, the rare bays, they are rare, so you'll probably get like you get a case of Beyblades, like 24. You get like two or three of the prize bays in those, and then everything else is all those other ones. So you have to buy an immensely big stock to be able to make the full sets as well as to be able to satisfy everyone that wants the prize bays. The negative thing about that is that, and what I found myself getting into is that, at least from the business standpoint, you'll sell the prize bays and then you have like hundreds of these other Beyblades that nobody wants. Because I mean, Mike, how you feel about? I mean, well, actually, it's probably bad to ask you because you like getting the different colors of every single Beyblade.
I do.
Um, yeah, so you're an exception to the rule, but most players or most people that buy, they don't care about those. So at least with me as a store being smaller, it hurts a lot. So it hurts the store because we have a lot of money sitting on the shelf that could have went to something else or could have done something else. So I hope you all don't get upset or mad or be like, hey, what's going on, this and that. Because with that, some stores, not saying all stores, but some stores, they will, like when you buy them randomly, some of them are already picked through. They're not all picked through, because you can buy like, you can put half your stock, be like, hey, I'll pick through this, sell this confirmed. The other stock, you'll be like, I won't. Um, but me, I just pick through everything. That way it's fair and I don't sell anything randomly because it's like I can't tell you it's random if I already picked through it and know what's in there. Um,
Mhm.
But because of that honesty, and that was what was coming back on me, like, hey, tournament or business and this and that, and it's like, dude, the tournament and the community is way more important. So the honesty is going to be there. But with that, I'm only selling what we can get. And then I thought about that. It's like, oh, that's not really going to blow up or boost up the store in a sense. But it's like, man, I got to do what's without breaking my pockets or breaking for gaming down. But as well as being honest to the community and letting them know what they get. So all that was to say, I apologize if you all do not find those. Um, if we sell out of the prize bays really quick, or we're not able to get the bay that you really want really fast, we're doing the best that we can, and we're just trying to be honest in that aspect. Um, yeah, and I had just wanted to say that because we have a free discussion, and I know with the random boosters, especially, um, they are a headache. But trust, you can trust a lot of stores. Stores that I would shop at myself is are Bays and Bricks, um, Beyblade Premier. Uh, they're honest. I've got some things from them. Um, Man, it probably sound bad if I don't shout out every single store, but those are only a couple stores I shop I shop with because there are other stores. I Everwish. I do trust Everwish. They're overseas though, so it takes a while for you to get their items. And like the Porto Zero, and no shade to any other other stores I didn't shout out, but I don't shop with you as much or whatever other reasons.
I mean,
But yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say in all reality, as of right now for Burst, this is the last random booster, the one that just came out.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you don't have to really worry about random boosters until we even know what's happening with Beyblade.
yeah. I think
Like it,
another one is coming out in December, but
nope,
can't confirm that. It's
nope,
not.
just a single booster.
Okay.
It's Lucifer.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Oh, is there a Helios and a Hyperion coming
that's
out?
next month.
Yeah, I heard
Aliens
about
and
that.
Hyperion is next month. Yep.
Yep. Helios and Hyperion. Yeah, man. Those that was something me getting on just talking about this on the store side. So to the community, um, we always love and appreciate the support and hope you keep showing it. Like it means a lot. But my honesty and my integrity is going to outweigh me just trying to make sales. Um, and that's yeah, I just wanted to speak on that. So, yep, that was that. So back on to the competitiveness or I guess just Beyblade as a whole. Yeah. So today we had on another note, we had a storm come through. I asked one of the dads at one point, because he was like, "Hey, is there lightning coming?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he was like, "Let me look it up." I was like, "How close is it?" And he was like, "Oh, it's zero point 0.6 miles away." I was like, "Dang," you know what I'm saying? But it was like, I told everyone, I was like, "Okay, y'all, so this is what we have going on. We probably had like 5 more matches left." I was like, there's a storm, there's lightning, so we're gonna have the finals. I'm probably gonna call to try to do it indoors. If but I'm willing to finish. But if y'all want to go, I completely understand. Everybody stayed though. That's the dedication of Beyblade. It was drenching rain down, and we had lightning strikes half a mile down the road, and we were still over there spinning tops. So that's the focus. That is the focus. Yeah, man.
So
Yeah. I want to say that's like probably not all I had, but do you know who won it in Beyblade East?
I mean, I don't know who won like each event. I think I think it was Fried Pasta came in first in total.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Pasta, and then Red Ninja, and then Blade Kid. I want to say I can't remember 100%. I just remember watching Red Ninja's video with it.
Yeah, I need to check out his channel. I'm subscribed to it and I get a lot of notifications. Um, but I need to check out that. Side note, just because it popped in my head. Shout out to Zenki Store,
Days.
Mall of Bays. Yeah, Mall of Bays. And there's another store. They actually have a physical location. I think it's in I have to look it up, but you can Google this toy life. They sell to Cartomi also. Those are 2 other stores I'd like to shout out. Um, but yeah, Red Ninja. You know, Red Ninja. When I met him, like nobody really talks about him that much. I know he's younger, but that kid can play.
Yeah,
He can play, at least from what I see. I know he's with your scene more, so you probably know him a lot better than me.
yeah.
But he's high on the leaderboards, and but he's just like not talked about as much, at least from what I hear. Like you hear a lot about Yami, TSO, Geester, you, Sniper, and maybe it's just because well the other crowd is more veterans, and that's also they're just an older crowd, and but Red Ninja, he's a solid kid, man. He's a solid kid. He plays well. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So right now in Maryland, there's this big thing where a lot of like competitive players, like some of the bigger names that you have mentioned, um, they're getting fed up with 3v3.
They're getting what?
They're getting fed up with it. They think it's too luck based,
Uh,
and they keep complaining that they want more pick three, choose one.
Pick three, choose. Man, it's not. I swear it's not. I swear. I used to think that until I started to play it.
So like,
Um,
so this
you can
this
give
is
your
my
thoughts and I'm gonna give mine. I'm probably gonna piss some people
okay.
off, but I'm gonna say what I gotta say. Go ahead. Go ahead
So,
though.
so this is my thing. Yes, pick three, choose one is definitely probably the more skill thought format because you have to look at their three Beyblades and your three Beyblades, know all the parts, know how they work with each other, and then choose the most optimal combo that could beat either all three of their combos, or you have to think, what combo do I think they are going to pick? And pick
Yeah,
the counter to that combo. That's very skill intensive, and
it
that's
is.
great. I like that aspect of that format. However, as an organizer and one of the main organizers for Burst Standard up here in Maryland, I
Hmm.
will not do pick three, choose one because the majority of the people that show up, even though we have a lot of the competitive people here, we still get a lot of new players,
Yeah.
little kids, and let me tell you this. When we would have single bay, before we even had this, do you know how many times after one battle those little kids went to grab another Beyblade for their next battle?
I'll probably every one.
Exactly.
If they lost, they
Three
probably would. Yep.
3v3 is the most entertaining format for those players, and those players are who you need to keep coming back.
Yeah. Yep.
Otherwise, you're not going to have big turnouts of tournaments and stuff like that.
You're not. Your community won't really grow if you have. It's great to have the consistency and like the veterans coming out, but at the same time, it life is going to happen. Like I said, like a couple of my locals, they called me right before the tournament and they weren't able to make it. One, he just got a new car and I think he's kind of growing out of Beyblade and those things happen, you know, but you want to have the new players come and have a good time. Um, my experience as far as 3v3, and I've seen this a lot with the veteran players, not pointing out anyone specifically, not even just veterans, like people who have a higher rank or believe like they're super good, you know, and then they lose to someone that they don't think is super good. I mean, it happened today, and the kid, this kid was losing, and he automatically feels like someone's cheating him, you know, or something's wrong with the format, or something's wrong with someone else's bays, and it's like, dude, you just lost, you know. If you're as good as you think you are and as strategic, you can go into possibly any format and adapt and do well. I would think, and I agree with you as far as 3v3 goes. It is the most fun, and yes, you can get wiped out 3-0.
Yes.
I don't see it happen as much. When I do see it happen, it's usually someone with Karatomi combos versus someone with Hasbro, and the Hasbro is losing, or the person is making a whole lot of random combos and they're trying them out and then they'll lose that way, or if you're going against someone that's really skilled, and let's say you have three mirror matches, if that was to happen, and they're just more skilled than you, then yes, they you'll get 3-0. But it's to me, it's not as it's not as luck based as what people. To me, it's not really luck based. You're going up there with your three best combos, and if you can win one, just try to when you reshuffle, strategize well enough to get the win for those other 2 points. But that's just me speaking.
So I know I'm going to end up pissing people off when I say this. I don't think it's the fact that 3v3 has no skill or is just completely random, which is most of the arguments that I hear. I just think what it is the the players that are known to be good players, but then when they lose to someone that they don't think is on their level,
Yeah,
they're getting upset.
hundred
They're just
percent.
they're getting upset that they lost, and they want to blame the format.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, well, maybe the combos you picked weren't great, or maybe you just put them in the wrong order. Like
yeah.
it happened. Like at the
It
end of the day, though, like if you go 4-1, are you going to sit there and let that one loss like really like bum you out the whole day? You know,
100%.
like
Yeah,
why let the one loss bum you out? You're going into top cut. Just keep
yeah, yeah. I look at it. I 100% agree with what you said, and I think it's like some of these. I know they call them like randos or like new players. They're new players to the competitive scene, or let me say the WBO competitive scene. But there's no telling how many times these kids or even adults have practiced with their friends or by themselves and done some of this testing on their own. So when they show up, like either they mustered up the courage or had the availability to go to this tournament, they may be better than you. Like
right.
if you look at the leaderboards, even on the WBO, like we have, I think possibly thousands of people registered. Um, but there's not thousands of people going to every tournament. We could probably right now, we're not, I don't want to, but we could probably say 50 people who consistently play throughout the entirety of the WBO.
Yeah.
There's like probably 50 people that consistently play. And when you mention that on top of the hundreds of thousands of people who are in, or millions of people who are involved in Beyblade but don't make it out to the WBO events, and then they do show up, like, yeah, one of these 50 consistent players may lose to someone that they feel like is random. And that's completely normal and completely natural. And that goes on to why I say I wanted to make the circuit. I wanted to have Dark Continent. I wanted these different regions and these rando players to come and to show like, hey, like we can play too. There is we can figure out the meta and we can stomp some of these names that have been on the leaderboards for whatever and to show that. And it happens. I mean it can happen. TNJ McInburst, he's fairly new to the competitive scene. Um and he did well. What was man, I just had a brain fart. It was MJ the best, and that was a highly like there was a lot of big names at that event. Shoot, today I don't think anyone got upset, but this was like the first tournament I was at where I was the only adult. It was like me and a 20-year-old, and it was just same kid. People were complaining. Like, of course the host is gonna make top cut, but I'm like, look, dude. I was like, Dark Continent, first place, the person was in his 40s. Second place was 6 years old. I was like, it comes to um, there is skill in this game. There is skill involved, and how you know your combos. Like it's not just favored to whoever, and you have to be able to, I guess, adapt and learn, to that. And yeah, we're probably gonna make some people upset, but I mean, it's honest. It's what it is.
Well, I mean, that was like literally the morning of Dark Continent. Me and Geese are sitting there talking, and we were just like, so, like, well, okay, it wasn't just me and Geese talking. It was like our whole group at the hotel, and the question came up. So, who do you guys think will make it in the top cut? And me and Geese started main two there, just like you really don't know. Like
Yeah,
there were too many names there, and those of us that are more like I want to say realist with it, know that sometimes stuff happens and you don't make it.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm number, what am I, 13 or something?
Yeah.
13. I think
Actually, I'm saying, yeah, I don't know, but I know you're up there.
I think I'm like 13th right now, and it's like I didn't make it in the top 8.
Yeah.
Out of all the names there, I would have been like in the top 4
Hmm.
names based on BR, but I didn't make it in. I
Yeah.
mean, I still went 4-2, but I didn't make it in.
Yeah. 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 And I mean, I like that to me, because to me, and people may disagree, but it shows some balance. And some people may not think so. I know challenge is not perfect, but that day we didn't have any ties. It was just straight up going in there. And I
Yeah,
tell you what, like if you feel like you are the greatest and that you will always win, and if you take a loss or something like that, like you said, and it just bums you out to the point where it's like, I don't want to do this, or like like you're reevaluating Beyblade in your life and something like that. Like it's not that deep. Um, we all we all play. Everyone will lose. And everybody, it doesn't matter how skilled you are. Like sometimes random things do happen. I'll tell you what, I have the most faith in my Dynamite Bilal combo, and I mean it was losing today to the point where I felt like I shouldn't have been losing. But this kid, he had a better launch than me, or at least the launch style that I have. I ended up winning overall, but he was smashing my best combo, and like he just did, and it is what it is. And all I do when I take from that, I'm like, okay, I either need to think of a better way to strategize, or I need to stop trying to force this combo that I've beaten other people with, because clearly I can't beat this kid with it. So I need to use something else in my deck to try to counter and get the win. And that's when it's strategy, because it's not a game if you feel like you're always winning. And I mean, come on, Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest player of all time. He didn't win every single time. You know what I'm saying? Even when he won those, what was it, 3 in a row, the championships. They didn't win every single game in the season.
right,
So that's they didn't even win every single game in the playoffs. Um, and that's just what it is. But I mean, you get knocked down and then you hop back up again, and then you come back and you get the win, and that's what it is.
right.
Um, yeah, yeah,
Like I hate to say this, and I hate to sound like a broken record,
yeah,
but we have all these different formats of playing within the WBO, and then you look at the WBBA and think about it. They had 3G before we had 3-on-3,
yeah,
and now they have 5G, and it's like, when are we going to get to the point where we're like, you know what? We think 5G is the better format to play, and then people are just playing that. Like, Takara Tomy makes the toys. They make the rules for the toys.
yeah,
Why
yeah.
are we not following?
I don't know.
Like, it makes more sense to me. And then
Yeah,
why are we having rules in the WBO like that are allowing us to bend our parts? Do you know how many times I have people
yeah,
come up to me now
yeah,
and go,
yeah,
"Hey, Crisis, is this legal?" And they'll bend a part, and we all just kind of like jokingly, but not jokingly, just go, "You bent it with your hands. I guess it is."
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
I watched someone bend the rubber parts to 2A, the chassis, bend them
yeah.
out a little bit to just curve out. And I'm like, I
Mm,
guess. I mean, I can't tell you if it's legal or not. Like in our reality, like the rule has me
yeah,
so confused and like mind drained.
yeah,
I don't even know.
yeah, yeah. It is. Some of these things are tough, and I think it's um well, one of the things that I said, even at Dark Continent, like we're not going to be utilizing the house rules, and I think that's how some of the rules get implemented. Because at some tournaments, it's like, well, this works for me. I want to be able to win, and it's working for me. So let me get a rule change so that it could be put in a rule book. And then on the grand scale of things, it's like this doesn't. You'll have things like what's happening to you. Random people are coming up, be like, oh, well, I can bend all this. Like, let me see if it can work. And it's like, no, we need a standardization so it's equal for everyone, and it's not just benefiting
Right.
individuals with their house rules, that they want to get thrown into the rule book.
Right. And all of this started because of bending Vanguard.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
why? Like,
Even though I think they may have it. Do they have that legal in WBBA? I think they do.
apparently in WBBA it's legal. But
Yeah.
question is it just one of those Vanguard is the only exception to this rule?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is it only Vanguard? Because if it's only Vanguard, it's like solid. It shouldn't be like anything that you can bend with your hands, you can get it, it's legal. Like, nah.
Oh, I have, trust me, I have things. All right, I mean, I'll just say it. So the prominence shield,
Uh-huh.
you can bend that sort of like a taco, just a little bit in the right spot. You can bend it with your hands, and because it now turns it into like this, like not 90 degree. It's more like a maybe like 180-degree angle or something,
Uh-huh.
or whatever. Like it's just like the way you bend it. You bend it a specific way, and I guess it'd be like 170 degrees. You just bend it just a little bit, and then because of that, when you put one side on, you have to force the other side to click down the lock, and the
Uh-huh.
tension is so much, just a little tap, and that thing flies off.
Pops right off. Yeah.
Right,
And
and
for
that's
you,
legal. That is
yeah.
100% legal based on the rule.
And for those who may not know, um, the it's the prominence layer, right?
Yes.
The prominence layer is arguably the best layer in the game if you can get the armor off because of how round it is. So it gives you a great advantage with competitive play. So you can put the armor on two ways. You can lock it, or you can have it in just a way that it can try to pop off easily.
Yeah.
Um, but doing what even Mike said, it could pop off even easier if it's tapped, which kind of gives you an even greater advantage. And in that aspect, it does it takes away from the game as far as being competitive and organized. If certain if certain players are doing in certain regions, because then we need
Well,
to
because
have that. Go ahead. Yeah.
because it's like you have the prominence layer when you have the shield on, it is great for opposite spin. Like it's a super good layer for that, but it's terrible in same spin. And you know what? That really balances the layer out. But then when you're able to do something that exploits it, so that way then you take the weakness of it away,
Yeah,
that's kind of insane.
it is.
Like you literally just said, "Hey, this thing has a weakness that makes it fair. I'm gonna make it unfair."
Yeah, I mean it was plainly put, but it's true. It's true, and that makes it like it's unbalanced, and I don't know. We have to. It's definitely something to looked into if it should just be like specifics or anything. I know it's gonna continue to take time. I haven't been on the forum. Well, I do hop on the forum quite often to look up there to see if I got any messages and to see some of the discussions, but I have been done with the arguing for rule changes. Because I
Yeah,
understand like it takes them a while and they have to organize it, and then my viewpoints are the same as other viewpoints. So instead of me getting frustrated, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna play. And as long as I'm not cheated or anyone else within any of my events are cheated, I'm good. Because as long as I can control the structure of my events, which I feel like are pretty fair, um, then I'm good in that aspect. But yeah, man,
yeah,
I agree with you, Mike. Yeah, we're pretty much on the same page with about everything. Um, yeah, man, I know we're coming up on time, and I want to get back. We'll talk about some things because there's some topics I want to talk about. I do want us to discuss the Hasbro versus the card to me when it comes to involvement in the community. But not today though, because I know that's a whole nother half hour conversation. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I want to speak on that. I'm gonna start doing some research as far as the combination thread and seeing different regions so we can speak on things like that.
yeah,
I want to talk about new releases. Yeah, definitely once we get back, I want to see how this Wind Knight, Moon Knight, I
yeah.
can't even remember.
I didn't even order Win Night. I have to order that still.
Yeah, I want to see how it I want to see how it does because it's very round, but I don't know how light it's going to be. Um,
Yeah.
and
Well,
go ahead.
from what I understand and what I've heard, it's really good for both same and opposite spin.
Yeah, it looks like it might be, and that would be something nice for the meta. I need to get Zyphoid. I still don't even have Zyphoid. I need to get it because I would have ran that today in deck. Um, I went
Zyphoid's
against fire. You said what?
Zyphoid's really good.
Yeah,
Like
it would
I
get
don't use it because I'm not good with attack, but it's really good.
yeah. I would have ran it today in my deck match because I went against Double Drift. Um, but it ended up working out with the deck that I had. But yeah, man. Thank you for hopping up here. I'll upload the show and then I'll definitely send you a file, man. Tell
All right, sounds good.
everyone I
No
said
problem.
what's up, man. And thank you all for listening. We're gonna be back. The interviews probably kick back on the interviews. A lot of things is just coordinating the times with the interviewees, and like we said, like Beyblade is it's big, but it's not like super big. So we're doing what we can. Hopefully this is entertaining. And like I said, send myself or Crisis on our Instagrams, YouTubes, on the
WBO.
WBO forum. Send us messages, any questions or topics you want us to discuss. Um, and we'll do it. We'll get to it. Thank you all and take care.
Bye. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to get him to leave.
Craig's like, nah, I want to stay, guys.